Hi everybody, this is Justina with JustynaTHandMade. In today's video, I'm presenting you this cute little pattern for a pencil case because that's the time. It's going back to school time right now. So I figured I'm gonna show you how to create a cute pencil case for any student or teacher in your life, and also show you one of my favorite methods of installing a zipper in the panel. Also, as you can see, I'm using one of my fabric designs that are available on Spoonflower right now. This really fun, colorful flower compositions look great on any project, and I paired it with coordinating waterproof canvas, which if you are here for a minute on my channel, I love waterproof canvas because you can feature a cute print that sometimes could be a little pricier, and pair it with the waterproof canvas fabric, which is very affordable, and also for most projects doesn't require any interfacing, so you are using something that it's durable, affordable, and easy and quick to use. So like I said, the other part of the project is it's from woven cotton. This is the fabric I designed and then purchased for myself from Spoonflower, and that part is lined with SewFuse, which makes it nice and stiff and durable as well. This pattern, it's a free pattern. To create this project, you just have to gather your supplies, and you don't need to purchase any pattern to be able to put this together. All the dimensions, all the fabric cuts and supply list is posted in the description of this video. Like I said, it's really not that much material. I have my woven cotton that I line with SewFuse plus a piece of zipper, small piece of waterproof canvas, and some generic woven cotton inside for the lining. If you enjoy this free pattern, I hope you also gonna take a look at the list of patterns I have available for purchase in my Etsy store. The link to the store is in the description box below, along with the link to the Spoonflower, so you can take a look at the fabrics that are available there. If you would like to discover more free patterns from myself, there is a full playlist of free patterns available right now, so you can just go into the main page of my channel, click on the playlist, and you will see a playlist called free patterns. As always, if you are not yet a subscriber, please make sure to subscribe. If you enjoyed this video, give the video a like. If you have crafty friends that you think would enjoy my channel, please share and drop me a comment. I love hearing from you. And now, if you want to see how this zipper technique comes together and how to sew this cute little pencil case, please keep watching. To get us started, we're gonna prep all our pattern pieces and supplies. All the cuts are provided in the description of this video, so you can just follow the list that is in there. Now I'm just gonna run through them real quick. So we have our zipper tape and a zipper pull, the front accent panel, and I line it with the SewFuse Plus to just give it a little more stiffness. I have my small lining panel, my bigger lining panel, and my large outer panel. So this is all you need. Obviously, you also need sewing thread, and I'm sewing this on a domestic machine as always. This project should not give anybody any trouble. It is domestic machine friendly. Alrighty, so now that we have everything prepped, we can move on with sewing up our project. First, you're gonna take your accent panel, which is the front outer panel, and your zipper. You will also need a ruler And if you are using a directional fabric, just make sure you are paying attention which edge is the top, because that's where your zipper has to be. My fabric is not directional, so I can just choose whatever side I think I like better. I think this will be my top. So I have my ruler, and just to make it easy, I'm gonna flip the panel over, and I'm gonna mark a line on the front, the right front side of my panel that is 3/4 of an inch. So make sure you are marking the 1/4 of an inch. Don't, if you are, I'm using just a pencil, so I don't want to leave a mark on the part that's going to be visible, so I'm not going to draw the line all the way through. I just need to have a good reference point on my fabric. Now that I have that done, I'm gonna grab some double-sided tape, and I'm gonna place a line of the tape along the one of the edges of the zipper. And now I'm gonna take my zipper, making sure it's coil side down. I'm gonna center it along the line I just drew on top of my fabric. And now if you want to be really precise, you can also mark a 1/4 of an inch seam line on your zipper. And mark a 1/2 inch inside of your zipper tape. So you want to be about an inch from the edge, which should give you 1/2 inch from the edge of the zipper. And when we have our panel and the zipper prepped like this, we're gonna take our project to the machine, and we're gonna sew following the 1/4 of an inch seam line on our zipper tape. And we're gonna be sewing with 3.5 or 2.5 stitch length, whatever suits you best. How you want to make sure you're going to back stitch well on the beginning and on the end of your seam, and that you're going to start and stop your seam where you have your marks. So take your project to the machine and sew the zipper on. Now that the zipper is sewn in to the right side of our panel, we're gonna take the smaller lining panel and we're gonna place it right sides together with our outer, and you're gonna clip along the edge. You can also clip the sides to make sure it's not gonna shift. And when you have your project prep like this, you're gonna take it back to the machine and you're gonna sew following the already existing seam line, and you're gonna follow it exactly. So you're gonna be sewing just on top of your seam line, again making sure you are back stitching on the beginning and on the end of your seam. Now that our lining is sewn in, and as you can see, I sew exactly on the seam line. Now we're gonna put our zipper pull on, and here you want to make sure you are putting the zipper pull on the way you want it to be on the end. I like it to be on the left when I close it, so I'm gonna put it from this side. And now we're gonna cut our opening so we can flip the zipper in the correct position. So I think it's gonna be visible on the side better. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna make a cut that runs from the top, it's under an angle, runs from the top to the first stitch, and then a second cut that runs again from the top to the last stitch. Don't cut your stitches. When you have that done, you can trim that part so it's less bulky inside of your project. And now you're gonna flip your project over. You're gonna finger press your panel, and then you're gonna fold your panel so you have this little corner, and you want to make sure that all the extra fabric, the zipper, is inside of your project. And with that little corner, you're gonna fold the fabric at the point of the last stitch. So you're gonna fold it over, align the top with the top edge of the zipper, do the same on the lining. So you're gonna fold your lining at the place of the stitch and secure that with clip. Repeat that on the other side, so you have everything inside of your project. Flip the little triangle, fold the fabric, and repeat that with lining. When you have that done, now you're gonna take your project back to the machine, and now you're gonna sew from that point towards the edge of the zipper. So you want to make sure that your seam line starts exactly at the point of the fold. Don't sew on the fold or closer to the edge. You need to sew exactly where your fold is, straight up. So you're gonna do that on both sides, making sure that your seam starts where your little triangle starts. Make sure you backstitch well in those little corners, and that your lining is folded underneath, and everything looks nice and straight. So take the project to the machine and sew those two corners to close our zipper. Now that our corners are sewn, we can flip the fabrics the right way out and see if everything is looking good. Mine is looking nice, and I don't have any peckers because, like I said, you have to be really careful. You have to sew exactly where your fold is to make sure that everything is looking nice and straight. So now we can trim those extra little corners. We can even trim the zipper tape to make sure it's not gonna get in the way of our final seam. And now when we have that done, you can take your project to the ironing board and give it a press, or you can just finger press it like I'm doing. And when you have that set, you're gonna take the project back to the machine and you're gonna top stitch along the zipper opening with the 1/8 of an inch seam allowance and 3.5 stitch length. After we have it top stitched, we're gonna now attach our outer panel. So again, you want to make sure that the outer panels are right sides together. So you're gonna place it along the longer edge of the panel. And when you have that prepped, you're gonna take it to the machine and you're gonna baste the panels together with the 1/8 of an inch seam allowance and 3.5 stitch length. Now that the outer panels are sewn together, we're gonna take our lining, and again, making sure the linings are right sides together, we're gonna clip it along the edge we just sewn. And now we're gonna take the project to the machine and we're gonna sew along this edge with the 1/4 of an inch seam allowance and 3.5 stitch length. Now that the lining is sewn in, we're gonna open our project, making sure the seam allowance is in an upward position. You can finger press it, or you can take it to the ironing board and giving a press. And now we're gonna top stitch along this edge with the 1/8 of an inch seam allowance and 3.5 stitch length. You want to make sure that your lining is nicely behind your panel and that your edge is finger pressed. So take it to the machine and top stitch your waterproof canvas panel along the zipper seam. When your outer back panel is top stitched, now we're gonna prep our lining. So you're gonna flip your project lining side up. You're gonna bring the bigger lining over so the bottom edges of the lining meet, and you can pin it or clip it. I like to pin it because I'm also marking my opening for my turning hole. And also you're gonna clip the sides, but only the lining. When you have that prepped, you're gonna take your project to the machine and you're gonna flip the outer. You're gonna sew the lining sides and this little part of your bottom edge, making sure you are not sewing on the outer panel. So go as high as you can. If there's a little space, that doesn't matter, just bring it up as high as you can, making sure you are not sewing on the outer panel. So this side, and then repeat that on the other side. So you're gonna be sewing the side and the little part of the bottom edge, and we're gonna be sewing with the 3/8 of an inch seam allowance and 3.5 stitch length, and make sure to back stitch well up here and where our turning opening is. When you have your lining sewn, so I have it sewn from here to here and up to here, so I have my turning hole left unsewn. I also cracked my zipper halfway through, and now I'm gonna take my outer panel and I'm gonna align the bottom edge of the back panel with the bottom edge of my front panel and clip along that edge. I'm also gonna clip the top parts here together, and then I'm gonna clip my outer edges, just the outer fabrics without the lining. When I have my project prepped like this, I'm gonna take it to the machine and I'm gonna sew about 2 inches from the top edge. This is the top where the fabric is folded. So I'm gonna sew with the 3/8 of an inch to about 2.5 inches down. And here I'm gonna backstitch. When that's done, I'm gonna flip my lining over and start my seam at the point where the fold is. So I want to make sure that I have this part of the lining not sewn into my outer panels. So take your project to the machine, sew 2.5 inches down from the top on both sides, backstitch, finish your seam backstitching, flip the lining over and start the seam again and finish it up all the way around. And you're gonna be sewing with the 3/8 of an inch seam allowance and 3.5 stitch length, and just make sure you are doing exactly what I said. This way it's gonna be easier for us to close the opening in the lining. Now I have my outer sewn and my lining sewn, and I did exactly what I told you to do. As you can see, there's seam starting and ending and starting here twice. So now that I have that done, I'm gonna trim my seam allowances, especially at the corners. And now it's time to turn our project right side out. After you turn your project right side out, just give it a nice look to make sure everything is looking nice. And now we can close our lining. So we're gonna pull on the opening, aligning the folded edges. And when you have your lining clipped and the raw edges folded inside, you're gonna take it to the machine and you're gonna sew along this edge with the 1/8 or 1/16 of an inch seam allowance and 3.5 stitch length, making sure you are back stitching on the beginning and on the end of your seam. I inserted my finished lining inside of my pencil case. I added my handmade tag, and now my project is ready to use. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial and that you are gonna try this method of installing a zipper in a lower panel. It gives it a really nice clean look, and if you just take your time, it's not difficult at all. If you did enjoy this tutorial, please make sure to give it a thumbs up, and please drop me a comment. I love to hear from you, and let me know what did you think. If you are not yet a subscriber, just make sure you hit the subscribe button. It doesn't cost anything and it takes literally a second, but this little gesture helps my channel to grow. If you would like to explore more of my patterns, you can just view the full list of videos on the channel. You can also visit my Etsy store and take a look at the patterns available there. Also, if you would like to purchase this fabric, or if you are interested in viewing all the fabrics I currently have available on Spoonflower, follow the link in the description and take a look. I hope you find something you like. Till the next time.